Welcome to Rad, a daily reader for Reddit. Like and subscribe for daily Reddit videos. The kids growing up gaming on tablets are going to have all the internet addiction without any of the computer skills. My kids are 11 and 8, and they grew up using iPads. Because of my ex-wife and their school used iPads for the 2 first grades and then switched to Chromebooks. They were indeed very influenced by this, and had trouble grasping a lot of things, like apps versus programs, file handling and e.g. what a browser is, that the internet is not Safari, that iPads are tablets, and not just iPads, like a universal term for tablets. But then my eldest kid caught interesting Star Stable, a PC-only game. And now both of them have Lenovo laptops, and they are rapidly gaining computer skills. For instance, my eldest kid figured out how to set up a private Discord channel, with permissions and all of that, using Google and YouTube. Keep in mind that English is not her first language. That's awesome. Next thing you know, she'll be learning a programming language and setting up custom Discord bots. Lol. You want her to have depression? True lol. Found the programmers. Hello fellow depressed coders. As a software developer, what do you consider to be the difference between an app and a program? Edit. It's been quite interesting seeing all the different responses. I'm a web developer, but I always considered apps to be for smartphones, and programs for actual computers, even though a smartphone is pretty much a computer. The lines are blurring. Apps are now programs on PC too. Someday one code base will run an app on any device, like what Flutter is doing. So I think calling them apps now is warranted. I just dislike the term app. Makes it sound like it's a toy version of a program, or of inferior quality somehow. Calling something like Photoshop or Firefox an app to me sounds like calling the Mona Lisa drawing instead of a painting. I guess both are technically correct, but painting seems more important. I strongly dislike the phrase app when it comes to computers. More so now that the tech industry has started picking it up. I see programs as full-featured and apps as simplified versions for lower-spec platforms. It's dumb. For example, Spotify has their normal program version, and now they have the app version in the Microsoft Store. Problems may be different to fix based on the version you have installed. So it's annoying to have to troubleshoot for people who assume everything is called an app. As a teacher, I had previously become accustomed to assuming that kids I teach know how to maneuver internet sites and basic computer skills. Definitely not the case. I learned last year not to do this anymore, and just like anything, some catch on fast, some don't. The ones who don't tend to do poorly in other areas. And it really has nothing to do with being born in a more technologically savvy time. I was definitely guilty of assuming too much. My mother talked about the same thing. She worked at a very expensive private school that was Prec 8th grade. She taught how she would have to teach Prec the basics of the mouse and to maneuver it around. Then came a point where all children knew how to do basics and she could start teaching more advanced stuff earlier. Her last few years, 2015-16, that some once again never saw a computer before and almost all would try touchscreen. That's very interesting and not something I would expect. The amount of touchscreen laptops was really a dumb idea looking back. My little brother is 22 and gets squirrely when he's away from his computer for a couple of hours. Recently found out he doesn't know about file extensions, even though we've been putting computers together for 8+ years. I can't even wrap my head around how that's possible. Me neither initially, but it makes sense. I'm in my 30s and been driving since I was 14. No frickin' idea what anything is called or does under the hood. The only thing I know is how to jumpstart, change a tire, and change the oil with a bleed out. I only needed to know these things because something fricked up to force me to learn it. Nowadays, everything is so user-friendly, no one needs to learn how to fix anything, and that's a good thing in a way. I mean, I assume you and I have used dairy products for 30+ years and neither of us know how to milk a cow. I've been practicing milking for years. But their thumbs will be deadly. Although with a keyboard, all your fingers are deadly. Or riddled with arthritis. That's nothing compared to the carpal tunnel on the mouse hand. Sad thing is, there's also no way around it. I can wish to be a responsible parent and not give my kids phones and tablets. But then they will be left behind compared to other kids, and will have problems adapting socially. Which is even worse. It's just sad. They're not left behind at all. A kid learns nothing by playing Brawl Stars or a Temple Run clone. These games don't teach anything and don't really improve any cognitive skills. They're designed to be addictive and contribute nothing. After a long time of thinking like you that my kids will be in some way left behind, I figured out it's just nonsense. Unless your kid is actually doing something creative with their phone, tablet, or the tablet is actually holding them back, and they'd be better off doing literally anything else and learn that life is not just a constant stream of dopamine and easy entertainment. Thanks for acknowledging this. Programmers of the future are going to design things based on what they're familiar with and what most users will be familiar with. Denying your kid the skills and experience they'll need to interface with the future won't do them any good. As if one day we'll all go back to using BASIC on a VIC-20. Great. Sounds like the mobilification of desktop sites, UIs, is just going to get worse and worse. Never in the history of computers have interfaces gotten worse and worse. The people used to them just get older and older. Edit. Things get worse then better all the time, but rarely do they get worse and worse. This is already a thing. As a 12-year-old I knew the basics of installing Windows, formatting the computer and whatnot. My nephews who are that age now barely know how to install Fortnite on their PC. Just going to add this. You guys who don't agree, don't be mad 10 years from now when your kids can barely read a book or focus on something for 5 minutes other than the next round of Fortnite. You sound exactly like the parents who are against homework because the work should be done at school, while at the same time not teaching your kids to behave in schools or even sit down during class. Hence no work being done at school or at home. You are hurting your kids more than you realize. Enjoy this shit show. At 12 I was learning how to restore my PC to an earlier date to remove viruses that I got from LimeWire. Learning by doing. I'm in this Reddit comment and I don't like it. I mean, we who grew up with newer computers also didn't get part of the computer skills people who grew up with, say, Commodore 64s and such had. Thanks for watching Rad. Like and subscribe for daily Reddit videos. If you like these videos, check out Rad too.